Hello my Wolfpack and welcome back to another episode of our Pokemon Competitive Guide video. So today we're covering Kyogre, Kyogre obviously being an Uber's Pokemon, being the original Pokemon that would set up the drizzle, so setting up the rain. Honestly, this thing's really cool. It's got a couple of good techniques that you can use with it. You can run it as a physical version or a special version. More commonly it's used as a special version, but with base 100 in its attack, that's actually relatively okay. Although do bear in mind that obviously in Ubers, it is a little bit more difficult to deal with because base 100 attack, whilst good in the normal game, is not as good in the Ubers game because a lot of the Pokemon have base 100 or higher in their defenses, which means that your attacks aren't going to do as much damage. It's really bulky with base 100 HP, base 90 in defense, and base 140 in special defense. This thing can really live a lot of special hits, and then base 90 in speed, so kind of average-ish in the speed of Ubers. I used to think the speed was really high in Ubers, but actually looking at a lot of them, they are kind of around base 90, base 100. So if you put a little bit of a speed investment in Kyogre, potentially it could do a few different things if you decide to go that way. Now, before we get started, if you could please scroll down, click the like button, also subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps me, I really would appreciate it, and it also will show you any videos that are coming out in the future. Now, there are only a few competitive guides left, but there are going to be a lot of Wi-Fi battles, so that would be really exciting if you could please subscribe, and they will come out to you. Turn on those notifications as well if you would like that. So, 4 sets today. The first set we have got is a leftovers set with kind of just a Calm Mind attacking. So Calm Mind sets up your special attack and your special defense. It can make you much more bulky on your specially defensive side as well, and allows you to start raising up your special attack. Now, with base 150 special attack, you're already pretty darn high, but if you can get to like a +2, you're almost 900 special attack, which is almost 1,000. No, it's not quite 900. I can't do maths. Right, yeah, you're very high on your special attack, and that will hit like a truck on the majority of Pokemon. You've got Drizzle, which will activate when you come in. You can always run like the Damp Rock if you wanted to extend the turns of Drizzle. If you're running like a Swift Swim user as well, so because I know some competitions have allowing one legendary, and sometimes you might run around Kyogre as that one, as a reliable rain setter. But in typical Ubers play, Drizzle can be really good because it can go against the drought that Groudon will bring, and it will allow for you to do the normal amount of damage on your water type attacks, such as Origin Pulse, which is base 110 power, absolutely huge, base 85% accuracy though, so do be cautious of using it. It does have a 15% chance to miss, so, you know, sometimes that can be quite common, other times it's not quite common. If you're playing on Showdown, it will probably happen like 95% of the time that you'll miss. It hits adjacent foes, so if you run this in doubles, you can run it in doubles, but typically I only do these for singles. But obviously it's going to be a pretty good doubles move as well. So, Origin Pulse, your strong stab water type attack. Thunder, which combines really nicely with Drizzle, so you've got the rain set up. That Thunder will hit 100% of the time. It'll hit really hard on a lot of different Pokemon. And obviously, Thunder, just a very powerful electric type attack. Ice Beam, which just gives you coverage on those things like Rayquaza, any dragon types that are kind of lurking around, like Zygarde 100% as well. That Ice Beam can do a lot of damage to those kind of Pokemon. Calm Mind on here as well, as I said, to raise up your special attack and your special defense. Now, EV-wise, going for max HP, max special attack with a modest nature, so more special attack, less attack, and 4 EVs in special defense. This is if you want the maximum power output that you can get. But if you want to go more on the tanky side, where you're going to live a couple of hits potentially, whilst you're setting up your Calm Minds, you could definitely go for the max HP, max defense, with a bold nature, so more defense, less attack, and 4 EVs in special attack or special defense. That allows for you to have a really bulky defensive front, so if a Pokemon's trying to hit you on that side, that is not too bad. And then if you want to go for setting up your special attack and special defense, you just become very tanky, very difficult to deal with. This combines really nicely if you can Will-O-Wisp or Burn a lot of the physical users that are on the opponent's team, because that will just make Kyogre that much better in this scenario. Moving on to the second Kyogre, we have got a Choice Scarf set. Now, as I said, it's quite average on its speed, but if you chuck a Choice Scarf on it, it's going to outspeed the vast majority of Pokemon that are present, and really just be able to hit them for a lot of damage. Now, obviously, do be cautious of the fact that you are going to be locked into a move. I have gone for 2 water-type moves in this scenario because I think it would definitely work beneficially to have 2. Again, Drizzle is your ability because it's the only ability it gets. At least I'm 99% sure it does. Yeah, Drizzle's the only ability it gets. We've got Origin Pulse again because it's a strong stab water type attack. Thunder again because it hits really hard. Ice Beam once more time, it hits a lot of Pokemon really hard. I can't think of any grass type Pokemon that are in Ubers. I'm not sure if Shaman is off the top of my head, but I know anything that's like flying, anything like Veltal, any dragon type Pokemon that are in there, I'm not going to want to be hit by an Ice Beam. You've got things like Kyurem Black, I think that's part Ice type. But yeah, you've got lots and lots of Pokemon in there that aren't going to like taking an Ice Beam or Origin Pulse or Thunder. You just have to choose the right one for the team that is there. And finally, I've gone for Water Spout. Now, this combines quite nicely with the Choice Scarf because unless they're running priority, you're unlikely to get hit, and the Water Spout, which gets a 1.5 times from your stab, so it's like base 225 in its power, which is absolutely huge. If you are Choice Scarf, you're going to hopefully be faster than the majority of Pokemon, and you're going to not be hit by much priority, and yeah, that Water Spout is still going to do so much damage. You're going to be basically at full health. Now, obviously, things like Stealth Rocks can be a pain, so you might want to run a Defog user to help get this in to allow for the Water Spout to hit as hard as possible. But this is just designed to hit incredibly hard whilst being fast. Obviously, priority moves can put a dent in you and can start causing problems, especially if you don't get OHKOs on things as well. That can also cause a lot of damage to you. So maybe having a Wish user in the back to kind of recover that Water Spout if you recover that health for the Water Spout damage if you want to, but obviously you've got Origin Pulse as a secondary move there if you wish to use it instead. EV-wise, now you can run max special attack, max speed. You could run a Timid Nature, so more speed, less attack. That would allow for you to outspeed any Scarf Pokemon that are base 100 speed. Well, that aren't going to be the plus speed investments, because typically at that point they don't go for the plus speed investment. So if you wanted to make sure that you was outspeeding those Scarf plus speed investment ones, you can go for the Timid Nature here. But if not, if you're not too worried about that, you could definitely go for the Modest Nature, so more special attack, less attack. And this thing's just designed, as I said, to hit hard and hit fast. And having that Water Spout at full HP is going to really put a dent in basically any Pokemon. Even if something that resists it switches in, it's not going to like taking that hit. Moving on to the third Kyogre, I have gone for a Life Orb Dynamax set, and on here I've put Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave I find to be an actually really good move. I used to hate it. I used to hate Paralysis. I used to think it was such a useless thing to use and just too gimmicky, I suppose would be the right word there. But honestly, I really like Thunder Wave for the fact that you can just slow down the opponent's Pokemon. So rather than having the Choice Scarf and being stuck into that particular move, you can Thunder Wave half the speed of the opposing Pokemon. Just be cautious of things like Groudon or Zygarde Power Construct, because they are not going to be affected by Thunder Wave as they are ground types. So anything else should be pretty much fine to hit with Thunder Wave. Just be careful of things like Aromatherapy, which could potentially be a thing in some places. I think Xerneas potentially gets Aromatherapy, so you could possibly see a defensive set that might run that at some point. But that's just thinking about possible options that you might see. You've then got Liquidation, powerful water type attack. Obviously, you can run this as a special set, so you can run this for like Origin Pulse or Hydro Pump and Ice Beam and whatnot. But I thought I'd go for a physical set as well, because base 100 attack is relatively nice. You've got Liquidation, powerful stab water type attack. Earthquake hits annoying things like electric types that could be a pain in the backside. And then you've got Iron Head just to hit a few more different Pokemon for quite a bit of damage. You have got a couple of fairy type Pokemon in Ubers, so hitting them with Iron Head could definitely be helpful. Also, if you use the Dynamax of this set, you would get the Earthquake to go to Max Quake, increasing up your special defense, and your Iron Head to turn to Max Steel Spike, increasing up your defense stat. So if you needed to do that for any reason, that is an option with this set. But speaking of Dynamax, and because these are running the exact same EVs, I will just talk about them together afterwards. Speaking about the Dynamax version, I've gone for a Dynamax set here. I've put Choice Band on here. You don't have to go Choice Band. You could go an assortment of things. You could potentially even go for Damp Rock if you want to extend the turns of Rain out. You could go for any sort of berries. You could go for Red Card, Life Orb. There's lots and lots of different options that you can go for in this one. But move-wise, gone for Brick Break, which turns to Max Knuckle, increasing up your attack by one stage. Iron Head, as I said, turns to Max Steel Spike, increasing up your defense. Earthquake turns to Max Quake, increasing up your special defense. And then Liquidation, which one can set up the rain if you've had a Groudon switch in to set up the sun. And also it's your strong stab, water type attack, and can hit really hard on different Pokemon. Now, when you're out of Dynamax, obviously, if you've got a choice band, you are locked into a move, so do be very cautious of that when going for the move. So, for example, if they have like a Rayquaza, don't go for the Earthquake, because that's not going to be the right choice. That's not going to do enough damage, or not going to do any damage to a Rayquaza, unless you've got Gravity up, which after you've Dynamax is unlikely to be the case. EVs for both of these last two states, you've got max attack and max speed with a jolly nature, so more speed, less special attack, and 4 EVs and special defense. You could potentially go for max HP, max attack with the adamant nature if you wanted to, but I think having the speed investment here could potentially work for you. Obviously, if you've got a fast team already, you might want to go for a bulky variant and to be able to live a few more hits in the Dynamax potentially. Anyways, that is all for today, so I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm out of here, so have a good one, and I will see you soon.